All right, it's time to go over some ads for the waiver wire. After week 1, we saw a ton of information out there that we have to kind of step up on if you want to take advantage of your fab and get out there and really set your part along from your league mates. The first guy I want to talk about here is Alexander Mattison. Now, after really a shaky start from Zamir White, Alexander Mattison entered into the ball game and kind of gave some juice to this offense. I think that just the odds of Zamir White being the lead back for this offense is completely dead. All that hype he had in before, it's cockadoodle. If you listen here at the Bayou Bingo Fantasy Network, we told y'all this is more than a 50-50 work share. That's what this is. This isn't a Zamir White show where he's gonna rush for all these thousands of yards and be the man. He's the go-to guy. No, I told you guys, they brought in Alexander Mattison for a reason. Just look at what he did last week against the Chargers. 5 carries, 19 yards and no touchdowns, averaged 3.8 yards per carry. He had 4 receptions for 43 yards and a touchdown on top of that. That was 10.8 yards per catch. He had a 59% snap share. That's opposed to Zamir White's 39% snap share. So if you look at it, Zamir White wasn't even on the field as much. Yeah, he ended up rushing for more yards, 13 carries for Zamir White as well, but he wasn't the game changer that we thought, not that we thought, that a lot of people thought Zamir White was. Nah, not over here. I try to tell you guys, I try to warn you guys, don't fall for the hype of Zamir White. And we saw in week 1, this offense just isn't going to produce Zamir White type numbers of what everybody thought it was going to be. Zamir White, completely dead, should be out of there. Put Alexander Mattison on your waiver wire. He could be a nice flex play for you in the end. The other guy we want to talk about here, it's going to be Bucky Irvin, right? Bucky Irvin really showed us he was kind of the flash in the pan. He was the guy they were looking for Rachaad White last season. They never really got it. Well, the running back out of Oregon, Bucky Irvin, is the guy that's going to step up, somebody you should add for your waiver wire. He could be a really good 50-50 timeshare with Rachaad White. We just look at what Bucky Irvin was able to do last week against the Commanders. 9 carries, 62 yards, and a touchdown. That averages 6.9 yards per carry. He also had 2 receptions for 14 yards as well. Didn't have a touchdown receiving it at all, but he did have a 33% snap share. So just looking at what Bucky Irvin can provide for your fantasy team, he could be a nice flex play. And if for some reason, God forbid, Rachaad White goes down, Bucky Irvin could be a league winner for you. Please put him into your waiver wire. I think Bucky Irvin is worth the look at. So coming here at the next guy we're talking about that you must pick up for waiver wire, that's Isaiah Likely. We saw what he was able to do last week on Thursday Night Football when he's over there shredding the Chiefs. I mean, we saw what happened last season, right? He came in for Mark Andrews in the injury, and he's kind of picking up where he left off. Look what he did against the Chiefs. He ended up with 9 receptions, 111 yards, and a touchdown. That averages 12.3 yards per catch. And get this, 70% snap share. He was targeted on 12 of 32 routes. Now, Mark Andrews was only targeted on 2 of 36 routes. Now, Mark Andrews, he was kind of tagging on, he had 72%. Right? Snap percentage, right? So he was on the field. He was getting some things done, but he just didn't produce like Colby Parkinson. He's going to be the next guy we're talking about, but he didn't really produce like Isaiah Likely, right? Isaiah Likely was athletic. He was catching the ball at the point of attack, making moves after catching the football for the touchdown. I mean, we saw the athleticism and what he can provide for these offenses, and they said, look, we're going to get Isaiah Likely more involved into this offense this season. I tried to tell you guys, draft Isaiah Likely. Yes, I did like Mark Andrews more than Isaiah Likely, and I do think Mark Andrews is going to be a nice fantasy option. I'm not writing off Mark Andrews whatsoever. I may write off more of Zay Flowers, right? But I think it's going to be more of a 2 tight end combo set with Mark Andrews and Isaiah Likely moving forward. Obviously, you're not going to get these type of numbers week in and week out from Isaiah Likely, but he should be started in all leagues moving forward. He's just that kind of guy. I like Isaiah Likely. Put a lot of fab on this guy and go get him on your team. Somebody we just mentioned a minute ago, Colby Parkinson. Somebody else you might want to add onto your waiver wire. He had a solid, productive game with Matthew Stafford. He was targeted quite a bit. He was the guy to go to. And now with Puka Nacua going down, this could be opening the door for him some more success. Look at what Parkinson was able to do. Sunday, he was going against the Lions, right? 4 receptions, 47 yards, and 0 touchdowns. He averaged 11.8 yards per catch. He had an 88% snap share as well. And like I said, Puka Nacua's injury could open the door for Colby Parkinson, guys. I think he's somebody, if you guys really need a tight end, I think he's a great option there. I think he can get you a nice baseline floor of points. Somebody you should definitely put a waiver bid in if you need a tight end. Go to the next guy here. We're talking about J.K. Dobbins, and boy, did he kind of show out for us in this week. Now, he kind of shared the workload a little bit with Gus Edwards, but he was clearly the man. And no one knocked the talent of J.K. Dobbins. Never did. His biggest thing was his injury problem, right? And could he battle these injuries and overcome that to be the guy we all thought that he could be? Well, in week 1, he showed us what he could do. The thing is, I would still put a waiver claim on him. I would go get myself some J.K. Dobbins. But the thing is, it's the injury health. Will he stay healthy? That's going to be the big thing for him. But let's look at what he did last week there against the Raiders. He had 10 carries for 135 yards rushing, 1 touchdown, averaging 13.5 yards per carry. That's 3 receptions also for 4 yards as well. It's kind of irrelevant. But he had a 59% snap share. Now, he did share a lot of that workload with Gus Edwards. I get it. He was just able to do a lot more than Gus Edwards was able to do with the touch that he had. So if you're in need of a running back, go ahead and put some fab on J.K. Dobbins and just pray he can stay healthy and provide you consistent week in and week out numbers to help you win a championship. Let's go over the next guy here we're talking about for the waiver wire. We're talking about Josh Reynolds for the Denver Broncos. And hear me out, Bo Nix did not have a very good first start of the season. He was kind of shaky. I think it was more nerves of him being in the NFL. We saw in the preseason what Bo Nix can do. He's a much more accurate passer than what you saw him do last week against the Seattle Seahawks. I think that Josh Reynolds was showing that he could be the #1 option for this team, or really close up there with Cortland Sutton. Just look what he did against that Seahawks. He ended up with 5 receptions for 45 yards, no touchdowns, but he did average 9 yards per catch and an 80% snap count at the wide receiver position. He was targeted 8 times, you guys. 8 times he was targeted. That means he is going to be a big part of this offense. He came over from the Lions. He's a good wide receiver, guys. He's a good wide receiver. And on a team that didn't have really much, I can kind of see how Reynolds was able to be so productive for him. So if you're in need of a wide receiver, or if you just want some depth at the wide receiver position, put in a little thing for Josh Reynolds. Get him on your team. You might be able to use him later on down the season. Who knows? Let's go over the next guy. I want you guys to really target it. I've been talking to this guy about this guy a lot on this channel. That's Tucker Kraft, guys. He's shown that he is the elite tight end. Back when he got drafted with Luke Musgrave, I said it on this channel that Tucker Kraft's a better tight end than Luke Musgrave, even though Musgrave was drafted ahead of him. Well, what happens? It came out in week 1. Tucker Kraft, he dominated. He dominated the touches and the snaps at the tight end position. Just look at what he did last week. He went against the Eagles, 2 receptions, 37 yards and 0 touchdowns, but he had 18.5 yards per catch. And look at this, 95% snap share from the tight end position. 95%. He left nothing for Luke Musgrave, nothing. He was targeted on 3 of 22 routes, and Luke Musgrave was targeted on 2 of 8 routes. Musgrave ran 8 routes, and Tucker Kraft ran 22 routes. Do you guys understand the big difference between Tucker Kraft and Luke Musgrave right now? He's almost free. He was free in drafts. I told you guys in the best ball, take Tucker Kraft as a last round target. I took a lot of Tucker Kraft, and boy, oh boy. Now all I know is I just need Jordan Love to come back in, because Malik Willis, he's not the thing. But I would say go get yourself some Tucker Kraft now. It's going to be cock-a-doodle for a little while until Jordan Love can come back in here. But I think once Jordan Love comes back, Tucker Kraft could be a monster, guys. Let's go over the next guy here that you need to be targeting in the waiver wire. Let's talk about Alec Pierce, right? Why was Alec Pierce successful in week 1? Well, we got to think about Josh Downs, right? I think the biggest reason why he had some success was Josh Downs was injured, right? They're trying to kind of move in Adonai Mitchell into more of an NFL type of workload. I think they were just starting him off a little easy, but that's why you saw those deep threats against Alec Pierce. I believe Adonai Mitchell will end up taking those very short. But let's just look at what he was able to do against the Texans in week 1. He saw with 3 receptions, 125 yards receiving and a touchdown, averaging 41.7 yards per catch, 84% snap share opposed to Adonai Mitchell's 65% snap share. So if you think that's going to hold up, come on, man. You're probably smoking a little bit on the outside, right? I think Adonai Mitchell, you're going to see him start climbing up to that 80+% snap share. Pierce won't be above Adonai Mitchell for long. They're just kind of working him in slowly but surely. But I would still get Pierce, even if Downs comes back as a 4th wide receiver. You never know. He could still be a nice flyer and flex up option for you. I wouldn't be surprised if Alec Pierce was a decent start here or there throughout the season, guys. But look, That's about what, 8 guys that I wanted you guys to go over there, put in some waiver wire bids. Don't overreact on a lot of the things that you see in week 1. Again, it's just week 1, but these are some guys you need to take a stab on. You need to go grab these guys. That way it can ultimately help you win a championship. Guys, make sure you guys are hitting the like button, hit the subscribe button. We are mucking out all types of videos each and every week to help you best win a championship, ultimately just hoist that trophy and just knock the snot out of everybody else in your leagues. Guys, I can't wait to see you guys on the next video. We'll see you guys next time.